Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I have something special going on. I'm going to be taking a trip to Rhode Island, just a couple hours away, across the state, or actually to the next state, and I'm setting up sound for a special camp meeting, tent meeting that's going on next week, and they asked me to set up sound and live streaming stuff. So I'm going to be going to set that up, and I thought I might as well bring the camera and take you guys along for the ride, and maybe kind of go through some of the stuff that I do when I set up sound for something like this. Oh my goodness, the lighting in here is so bad. But anyway, I have to go downstairs. I have gathered all the sound equipment that I'm going to be taking in my car, and it is a lot of stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to get all that into my small car, and then my buddy Luke is going to come. He's going to be helping me film a lot of the stuff, so I can also maybe talk a little bit about some of it. And he's come with me on a bunch of other trips that I've taken. He's been a big help to me in some ways, but today he's going to be doing a lot of the camera work, and so we're going to be taking off in just a few minutes. But first, I got to load up the car. All right, I'm loaded up and ready for the journey. I've got everything in my back seat filled, and the trunk pretty full. Let's go. All right, we are on our way to Rhode Island. We left a little while ago. I've got our Raz energy drink from Dunkin' Donuts. The thing actually has quite a punch, so I'll probably be bouncing off walls, driving in and out of lanes really, really fast. We are going to arrive probably, hopefully around noon or just after noon, and we're going to meet up with some guys. I got to set up all the sound equipment, and I'll probably take a little time and I'll explain some of the things as I go through some of the steps and such, and then hopefully wrap it up, call it a day. Hope to be done by 3 o'clock. That's the goal. Don't know if we'll make it, but we'll try. Got my buddy Luke with me. He's got the camera, and we're on our way. Here we go. Getting started. This is the campground. This is the tent. We got everything set up. We're going to be setting up right here in the back. And now we got to unload everything. Any particular spot you want these speakers? Do you want them to be out of the way of the platform, on the sides, or?
Probably, I would think on the sides.
Okay. That's fine.
The less cords in people's trip hazard.
Yeah. I did bring some yellow jackets, which are cord covers. So I have a snake, it's 100 foot, that I need to carry the signal from the back to the front. It's 100 feet, so I could technically go around the outside of the tent, but technically that makes more walkway.
Ran across the top.
I'd rather not, just so in case of any ART radio frequency, I'd rather keep it on the ground. I do have yellow jackets though, about 6 of them, that I could run a cable down the middle with the covers, but the covers probably will only reach so far. But I could also go around, that might be more walking terrain. So this is the snake. It's a pretty durable cable to walk on. So these are the yellow jackets. Cables go inside here. It's my workout for today. Yeah, that works pretty well. All these are speaker cables. Did bring some suntan lotion, but hopefully I won't bake too long.
speaker 1. Amplifiers. We can do it that way. That's fine. I only have 6 of them. So obviously, if you put, I told him this is the snake. This is the one cable. I have it. So basically, you only need to run the one. It needs to be up there somewhere. So it's 100 feet. We could run it all the way around the tent. But I don't want to. Obviously, this can't go all the way around the tent. Right. So if you feel like that's a trip hazard, you don't want. It can be stepped on and walked on. The cable can. That's not a problem.
I just don't want any distraction, you know.
I agree. Yeah, that's totally fine. Whatever that makes that work is totally good. That's why I have the cable so it could run long distance.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just wouldn't be. It may be fine to run it up along this. I'm just afraid of it being in the air, wrapped around a metal tube. I've helped fix a few churches with running their cables through like piping and metal stuff.
Running it through it. Oh, I got you.
Well, it's not just through it, but like even wrapping it around.
Okay, I got you.
You'd be kind of making it like an antenna.
If you believe we can navigate around, I'd much prefer that.
I think we can. I don't think that's a problem at all. Man, I can't believe all this stuff fit in there. Awesome, thank you, that's great. Is this keyboard gonna be on the stage or no? No. I don't think so. Okay. Try to keep these as close to that as possible. Also want to keep it flat. Don't want any tilting speakers. Leaning tower of speaker. Now I need, let me see how tall this is. The only thing I don't like about these, it's probably pretty good. Oop, somebody's water. Okay. Something like that. Well, that's not light. All right. So we got to take this amplifier out. Put this up at the front. Beautiful. All right, those are the 2 amplifiers. Hopefully I won't have to use these 2 things. We can take them back. Actually, I do need to put these back in the car. Hopefully I won't need these backups. Oop, I scratched that up pretty good. That's sad. So this is the heavier amp. We're going to put this one on the bottom. So because we have a snake that carries all line level audio, there are no speaker cables in the snake. So we can't run the actual amps from the back and then the cables through the snake to go to the speakers, because you don't want to run speaker level audio through line level cables. So we have the amplifiers are going to be up here next to where the speakers are and to the monitors. That way that they can be powered with the right cables. And then we just carry the line from the soundboard to the amplifiers. So no fires and no melting. Something like that. You know, in fact, we should do something like this. Okay, that's good. It's just fun because it's always an experiment to try and figure out where you want everything to be. Oh, this is a nice case. All right. You got a chair for this bad boy? I think it might need to go a little lower than that. Let's see, where's the, oh, there it is. There we go. Guess there's probably thing. I just need to make sure it works. So that's the pedal, and this is the power. So we'll have that over there. So sometimes keyboards have the ability to play sound out the keyboard as well as when you plug in an output. But never used this keyboard before, so I'm not sure if it'll allow for that. If it does not, some keyboards, when you plug in an output, it will literally like only go through the output. So if that's the case, we have to use one of the monitors to be able to get the pianist, the vocals from the platform, as well as the pianist so they can hear themselves. So I have to figure that out in just a minute. It's the biggest bulk of cables ever designed by man. Okay, I want to kind of leave the slack over by the booth, but this thing is so wrapped up, we're probably going to have to go the long way. Oh, this is going to be fun, untangling. This cable is going to need a washing when I'm finished. Why they believe in perfect order comes from nothing. They don't work with cables in the sound system at all. Everything tends towards chaos. It's a scientific proof. Wow. You know, I spent so much time wrapping this up so neatly, and it's a complete waste. I don't want it to be, but 100 feet of audio cable. It's okay. I'll be done around 5 tonight. Yeah, we can do that. But let me get all the rest of this. I want to bring all the slack back here. Okay, this is coming together. Hopefully this is the part they don't have to keep taking back up and putting back down every night. Now, trying to implement the proper method to coiling up cables is to give a nice little twist and make them lay neat. And with a big cable like this, it can be quite difficult, but it's not impossible. And we'll bring those up over there. So we're only going to be using a few of these. We still like to be somewhat organized. So we really only need about 5 channels. And we need 2 of the 1/4 inch, which will be used, or excuse me, 1 of the 1/4 inch, which we'll probably try to use maybe just this C. We'll use this for the auxiliary number 1 out. And then we'll use 15. Actually, I think I had a problem with 15 and 16 last time. We'll try it, we'll see what happens. Okay, so these are male. I have to use an adapter. Get my trusty box out. All right, so I have a nice bag of adapters in here somewhere. Perfect. Put one here, one here. And it's typically best practice just to use a straight cable and no adapters. But this is the next best thing. 15 and 16. 16 would be the right channel, 15 would be the left. But technically you could do whatever one you want. The piano would be the only other microphone cable that we're using. So let's just pick one. Let's keep the numbers coordinated though. Let's do 5. Let's do 6. And just to make it easy, we'll do 6 with 6. That way. Why is it always the one that you're looking for you can never find? 20? 17? Oh, there it is. Oh, they actually have 6 printed on it. Man, yeah, this is my snake, sure. Done. So then all these we're not going to use, at least as far as we know. I'll probably try to find a way to keep these up here nice. So we use the direct box, basically just to bring the line level audio and bring it down a few decibels to make it a little less sensitive. That way we don't go crazy on the soundboard. Works really well for this. Sometimes if a soundboard has a pad button on the channel, I'll just use that. You don't need a direct box, but the direct box definitely is very helpful and nice when you don't have a pad button. All right, hopefully that works well. Oh, you know what? If it's this close, I'm going to use a shorter cable. Remember, we used number 6 for the piano. Okay. Nice. Keyboard is plugged in. So I'm using 2 amplifiers. One is going to be for the speakers. They'll be set up in stereo mode, although they're not really doing anything stereo. And then the other amplifier will be set up in parallel, which will power both of the monitors running in mono, so the pianist can hear one and the people at the platform can hear the other. So we're going to use speak-on to 1/4-inch cables that will allow us to convert because it doesn't actually have 1/4-inch outputs. So we'll use 2 for each amplifier. So the Crown amplifier is going to be for our speakers, and the Samson is going to be for the monitors. The Samson's actually a bit more powerful than the monitors need, so I just need to be careful. You do not want to be blowing up anything. We do not want sparks to fly. Not that I've actually ever seen that before, but maybe someday for an experiment. That might be kind of fun. Speak-on cables are pretty awesome because they're a newer standard, but they've been out for quite some time. You can disconnect them without any popping sounds, and they're pretty great. Unlike a 1/4-inch, when you unplug the 1/4-inch, you might have a pop sound or something that's not good for the sound system. And Speak-on is just that much more advanced, so it's nice if you have to change things while things are live, although it's typically best practice to unplug things before you actually do that. All right, let's see. Right, 4 speaker cables, 1 for each speaker. A couple of these are actually a little bit too long, but that's okay. They're well within 100 feet. Typically speaker cable, depending on the gauge, you only want to run it so far. Typically, I don't try not to go over 100 feet with a 1/4-inch speaker cable. These are only 50 feet, so they're well within range of any delay. Hopefully, I can just put this underneath this speaker and then grab this. This is going to be the left, so channel 1 right there. And we'll try to keep these cables somewhat neatly managed as best we can. Now there are power cables running underneath here, which I would prefer not to have, but it's an outdoor meeting. You do what you can with what you can. Perfect. Now for the other one. Whew, it's warm today. We'll try to leave the coil of cable underneath the speaker. And this will be the right one. All right, although I may want to run this underneath the platform. Wow. Just about everything and its mother can get stuck underneath all these things.
It was supposed to be there yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice and hidden. I like that a lot. All right. Then these 2 guys. I have a feeling I'm going to be a little sunburnt by the end of the day. I kind of look like Bob the Lobster. If you've ever seen those comics with the lobsters from, you know, one's going into the pot and he's like, tell me how the water is. And the comic keeps going and it's like, how's the water, Bob? Bob! Bob! Bob has been boiled. It's a nice thought. All right, so since I'm running the small, or it's not small by any means, the smaller physically amplifier, I am going to be running it in parallel, which basically means that you use a single input and it matches the input for both outputs. So that way it's not in stereo, but it'll send the same signal, so you only have to do one input. And we'll be running both monitors off that. Okay. All right, now we need power cables for the amplifiers. All right, you don't have power yet, so I can't plug that in. But we do need to go from the snake to the amplifiers. So I need a couple XLRs for that. Okay, so this will go into the input. Oh, actually, this is needing male. Oh, I do need to use an adapter. Ha ha ha. The things that you get reminded of while you are setting things up, I tell you. Man, I set these up pretty nicely. How are these so out of whack now? That is incredible. So 15 is channel 1. Perfect. Where's the other? This will go into 16. Actually, let's pull it out. Put it underneath. Other channel. And all we have left is power. Let's do the input for the monitor amp. And we're using C. Make sure that's tight. And we'll input it into channel 1 only. And we have the amplifier set to parallel mode, which will allow the input from 1 to match both, so that way the outputs will have the same output sound. But you can control the levels independently on the actual stereo knobs for channel 1 and channel 2. So we don't know what those are yet, so we're leaving everything down to 0 before we get started. Okay, so we're gonna put our lapel mics and things inside and on top of this. That way it gives them some nice elevation, gets them out of the way from everything else. I still have one free XLR cable if I need it, which I very well may. All right, we got all the power plugged up and everything, but I just realized that instead of using this old power strip down here, I actually have a Furman power conditioner power strip up here, which in the box is better because it'll be better contained when they unplug things at night. All the power adapters will already be in the box. Sometimes better ideas come to you later in the process. The fun part's going to be just threading all these through. So now it's a matter of unplugging all of these and routing them through the other side. Yeah, this will be way better. I should have thought of this earlier. All right. I think I say that too much.
All right. All right.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Cable organization. It is not loved, but it is necessary. Glad this isn't plugged in yet because I probably would be electrocuted, and my electrician friend would laugh at me in my casket. Actually, I hope you wouldn't do that. So typically when I set up a soundboard to start, you kind of try to tie everything with the sliders all the way down. The gain knobs typically turned all the way down. And I put my masters on this particular board, 0 is all the way to the top. I won't be doing that. I'll be putting it down to -10. That way I have some headroom if I need to go up higher on the masters for everything. And then typically what I'll do is we'll go over to the amplifiers and we'll set them. To start off, we'll go about 1/4 of the way just to see how loud it is, because we want to set the board to where the actual microphone level is going to be 0. So if you see close on the board here, you'll see where we have the decibel levels. Decibel is just simply a rating number of incremental number for sound increasing. So on the board for a level you have infinity, which means it's quiet basically, and then you have -30, -20, -10, -5, 0, and then above that. Basically 0 is what I like to consider to be my norm in terms of the sound. So when I set up a microphone, that's what we're kind of looking for, is to get that normal volume sound to be 0. So what I'm going to do first is let's go up to the amplifiers. We'll turn them to a quarter to start with the mains first before we do the monitors. We'll make sure the power's on. Power, power. Got some good clicks. Did a safe check. And what we'll do is we will first do the master. So we're not going to do the Samson right now. We'll just do the mains. I'm going to go about half because I typically use this amplifier with these speakers, and halfway should not be loud enough, but it'll get me started. Now these speakers are rated at 240 watts, and the amplifier that I'm using is 275 watts per channel. So we're going to grab our green microphone here. What I normally do is I put my masters up to where I want them to be. Hopefully you never have to touch the masters, ever. But they are there and gives me some headroom in case I ever need to adjust them. And then I start with number 1. Make sure it's not muted. I'll turn up the gain. Typically these Shure with the SM58 heads, they typically are about just over noon. And I'm going to put this up to 0. And I'm currently not hearing anything. Am I getting power? No, I'm not. It helps when you plug the power in. I do that with computers all the time. Just so excited. Now we have power. And now we should have some sound. Testing 1, 2. Nothing? Nothing? Oh, that's the lapel. No wonder green is here. Helps when you read the soundboard. And we have sound. Oh, sorry. Test 1, 2. It sounds hollow. And the sound works. So what we'll do is we'll probably turn the amplifier up a little bit more, but that's not too bad. Now because I'm outside and there's nothing to reflect or bounce, it's like void. So because of that, sometimes takes a little bit more juice. So once you get your amplifier set with the volume that you want, you give yourself headroom so you can always go louder on the soundboard. Testing 1, 2. Test. That can get nice and loud. So at this point I'm going to do a test and we'll see how loud this stuff gets. So we got a lot of volume there, and I think the amplifiers are in a good spot. So I'm going to make sure I mark those so they know where those are at. They don't want to be able to be too loud, but they also want to be loud enough. So now what I'll do is I'll make sure that these other microphones also have the same volume that they need. Testing 1, 2. Check. Test 1, 2. Could use a little bit more volume. Testing. This one should go to about 2 o'clock. I'm not going to adjust the volume levels on the actual lapel receivers or wireless receivers. They should be fine. But let's do the lapel mic first. I feel like an important person. I'm going to have 2 lapels on. So now this is the lapel mic. Now the lapel is going to be more sensitive, so I'm not going to put it probably to maybe 11 o'clock. Testing, 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 testing. I was wrong, so it needs more. We'll go to 1 o'clock. Testing, 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 testing. Wow, we got to go a lot more. Oh, ouch. All right, so we obviously have a terrible ring. Brother Barnes, if you want, you can stand at the pulpit. That way.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Good to have you tonight. Boy, we're so glad you're here. We're waiting for pizza. Amen. Oh, you already have the pizza, brother. Amen. No, I don't, but I'm hungry. I didn't get to eat earlier.
So let's do this. I'm going to turn on this monitor and let you see what that sounds like.
Yeah, good idea. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'd like to put it over here because the other one's over there.
Yep.
So, yep.
So how is that, Brother Barnes? You can hear yourself out of there?
Yeah, oh no, I can now. Yes, sir.
Is it, how loud's that? Is that too loud? Loud enough?
No, I think it's good. Most of us really don't want to hear ourselves. I get that.
I can turn it down a little bit if you don't think the preacher...
So I think it's good. Testing 1, 2.
Okay, so I didn't really do anything a whole lot with ZQ. There's a little bit of tinniness sound in there. Kind of took his like 1 kilohertz down about a few decibels. So that should be okay, I think. Every voice is going to be a little bit different, but overall the microphone has the same characteristics. So that should be fine. What I'm going to do now is we'll make sure that all these microphones work on the monitor as well as the speakers. So I'm going to use basically the same setting that I used for the green one, and I'm going to put it onto the others because they're pretty similar in all the settings. The white one is the only one that requires just a little bit more juice, but we've already changed that with the gain. So now I'm just going to kind of set all these the same. Probably take out just a little bit of bass, make sure it's clear. Next, I think we're probably going to try is the piano, which probably needs to be louder through the monitors for sure. Typically keyboards are really bassy through a sound system, so I'm going to turn the bass down to -6 just to start. Grand piano. Oh, wow. So you probably don't need to have, is that coming through here at all? No? Okay. All right, let's pump it up to 0. Just don't want to blow people out of the water. I hear it. That's good. Okay. Those are my piano skills. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Actually, that's not true. I'll only be here Monday and Tuesday, but man, that just seems like it's going to be so sensitive. But if it's, oh, I bet there's a hum. So just turning it up just slightly, I can see already just levels. Although I can't hear it, there's probably a ground noise. Oh yeah, that's a buzz. We got a buzz. And the ground lift. Another reason why direct boxes are so cool. Wow.
Girl, good to see you. Get some pizza.
All right, we won't use that. So, very strangely enough, this keyboard does not require me to pad the audio. If I do -20, it's just way too quiet. So we're gonna turn this down. All right, anybody play the piano? Like to give it a jive? All right, we got pretty much everything all set up. Got the microphone set, tuned, EQ'd somewhat. We'll test that more out on Monday. Amplifiers are set. Piano level is set. I'm going to do more stuff with the live streaming audio settings on Monday, but most of the preliminary stuff is all ready to go. Now basically I'm just going to have to label everything, make sure it's as easy as possible to re-plug back everything the way that it should be with someone who's not really set it up or taken it down before. So hopefully making that really easy for them will be a really good thing to do. But just got to label everything and maybe show them how to take it all apart and put it all back together. And then we'll be done for the day. All right, we're on our way back and we finished setting up all the equipment. I ended with kind of labeling everything real well and kind of showing them how to take it all down. Pretty much every night they're going to be taking it all apart and then putting it all back up, but I wanted to make sure I showed them that. I will be there Monday and Tuesday to run the sound as well as show them how to do that again, just to kind of refresh in their minds. But all in all, I think it went pretty well. I think it's going to be pretty successful. I know several people have mentioned to me they like to see me do this kind of a thing and make a video where I can set up these kind of sound systems and stuff that I do quite often. So hopefully it was a help and a benefit to some of you. But for now, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will catch you in the next video. Cruising. We're just cruising. Nice travel day in Connecticut.
West 6 West toward Hartford.
Quiet, I'm talking.